So today we are starting this project risk management, and as you know, there are 10 knowledge areas in project management, project integration management, scope management, time management, cost management, quality management, human resources management, communications, risk, procurement, and stakeholder management. So we have done with scope, time, cost, quality, human resources, and communications, and now we are starting project risk management. So before starting this project risk management, let us try to understand what is a risk. A risk is an uncertain event or condition which may happen in the future. There is some uncertainty. When I say uncertainty, it may happen in the future. And risk is always for the future, remember. Risk happens always in the future. And if it occurs, it may have a positive impact or negative impact on one or more project objectives. If a risk happens, it may impact your project objectives. The project objectives may be pertaining to your scope, to your schedule, cost, or quality, anything. So risk is anything which is uncertain, which can impact your project. And remember, the moment we use the word risk, we always think it's negative. Need not be the case. A risk can be negative or positive also. A positive risk is called opportunity. We'll see what is a positive risk subsequently. Okay. What are the different types of responses you have for a positive risk, which we call it as an opportunity later. For the time being, just remember that risks are of two types, a negative and positive. A negative one is called a risk and positive risk is called an opportunity. Okay. Now, when in a project, when you are doing risk management, it means when you are dealing with risks, you will be dealing with two types of risks, which we already discussed earlier. Known risks, unknown risks. Known risk means which you have already anticipated that these risks may happen. For example, you are constructing a house. You anticipated that rain could be one of the risks. It may rain. Okay, so it is a known risk. The other name for known risk is known unknowns. Known unknowns, which we have already discussed about these things. Known unknowns. One. Known unknowns. A risk is always unknown. No, whether you are uncertain whether it will happen or not. But you know that this unknown thing may happen. Rain. You are not sure. You are anticipating that this may happen. So it is an unknown. You are not sure whether it will happen or not. But you know that it may happen. So it's called known unknowns. Certain risks, even you can't anticipate. For example, earthquake. Even in the wildest of your dreams also, you never thought that the earthquake may happen when you are constructing your house. A project called house construction. So, such risks are called unknown unknowns. You can't even think of it. Unknown unknowns. Normally, risk is an unknown thing. And this is again, you are unsure. So, unknown unknowns. For known knowns, for known unknowns, what is the reserve you put normally? We discussed already in cost management and time management. What is the reserve, the buffer you put for known unknowns? Anyone?
It's a contingency we plan there.
Perfect. It's a contingency. It's a contingency reserve. It's a contingency reserve that you keep some amount of money or some amount of time as a reserve. If this happens, this particular reserve can be used. So, contingency reserve. For unknown unknowns, what is the reserve we keep, I told? Management reserve. Perfect. Management reserve. So, management reserve is particularly you will put it aside for unknown risks. The management will keep it. but you will never count it, that particular reserve, you will never count it as part of your project. You will never take it for granted that this is my money. Okay, so your cost baseline against which, when you, every time you do a comparison, is the real estimation plus the contingency reserve. The management reserve, you will never consider it. That's what we discussed earlier. Okay, so just I'm doing a recap. The reserves kept for known unknowns, very important in the perspective of the examination. The reserve kept for known unknowns are contingency reserves. The reserves that are allocated for unknown unknowns, management reserves. Management reserve is not project manager's money. That he cannot consider that it is his money. That the management has kept aside. Only if that risk happens as a special case, those reserves will be used. So you will consider that it's not your money. Okay. We have sufficiently discussed about this earlier, and let us try to understand some of the terminologies pertaining to risk. And remember, risk management is very, very important in the examination perspective. You'll be asked many questions in risk management, because risk management is considered to be very, very important activity in any project. But most of the times in real-time world, we ignore these risk management activities. We don't pay our concentration towards risk management. Not only that, even in our real life also, we never pay concentration towards risk management. Before taking any decisions, we don't do a thorough analysis of the risk, and we never do a thorough risk management activity. If you are changing a job, you just do a high level thing like what is the risk. You don't spend sufficient time. Important things like your marriage also you don't spend. Yeah, we don't spend normally. What are the risks pertaining to marriage? And of course, after a point in time, you'll start repenting. Okay, so risk management is very, very important in your real life, in your examination life, any life. Risk management is very important. Now let us try to understand certain terminologies related to the risk. The first thing is risk appetite. Normally, what is an appetite? The literary meaning I am talking about. What is the appetite? Hunger. Murthy says it's hunger. Yeah. Risk appetite is the degree of risk you are willing to take is risk appetite. Okay, some people have this appetite. Some people don't have this appetite at all. Like, if you take some people, they never change the company, come what may. 15 years, 20 years, though there is no development, career-wise development, monetary development, benefits are not there, still they want to sustain in the same company. If you ask them if you want to change the company, no. If you want to change the account, no. If you want to change the project, no, I don't want to change. If you want to at least change the team, no, I don't want to change the team. At least if you want to change the chair where you are sitting for the last 10 years, no, I don't want to change the chair also. So that would be the appetite of that person. Okay. They are not willing to take any risks. Some people will be very volatile. Today one company, after 2 months if you come across and you ask him, he will change into a different company. After 6 months, he will say a different company. So they have a risk appetite, very high risk appetite. And some people, they work in some company, within 6 months time, they think of starting the same type of business or same type of company on their own. Huge, heavy, very high risk appetite. And risk tolerance. There is one more thing, risk tolerance. These things you have to make a note and you have to remember. Okay. They may be asked directly on risk tolerance, or they may be given as a context in some other situation, like your stakeholders are having less risk tolerance or more risk tolerance. They may ask these questions. So you need to have this idea on this risk tolerance basically. So risk tolerance means the degree or the amount of risk or the volume of risk an individual will withstand. How much risk I can withstand? After that, I cannot withstand that. Okay, I can tolerate only the risk to this extent. I can tolerate 5 risks in a day. I can tolerate 10 risks in a day. That is my tolerance level. Every organization will have their own tolerance level. They will tolerate the risks to the extent. Some organizations who has the more risk appetite, they can tolerate the risks. Some organizations have the appetite, but the conditions prevailing in the organizations will not allow the risk tolerance. Okay, so risk tolerance is the amount of risk that an organization or a person will withstand or can withstand is risk tolerance. And let us try to understand one more terminology, risk threshold. Risk threshold is the level of risk or the level of impact where you will be allowing the risk to happen. After that, you will pitch in, you will poke your nose, and you will try to control the things. That is a threshold. Okay. Suppose in a day, if 3 risks happens, then you will try to pitch in. That is your threshold, the threshold limit. You bought till that time. After that, you will poke your nose, you will pitch in, you will try to control the things. Normally, thresholds will be just a point before the tolerance level. If tolerance level is 10, threshold you can keep it as 7 or somewhere. If you keep tolerance and threshold same, you have to act once your tolerance level is breached, which is not the right thing to do. So threshold is something which you put a level before than the tolerance level. Okay, so risk appetite, risk tolerance, and risk threshold. Okay, so risk attitude, there's one more term called risk attitude. Risk attitude is appetite, threshold, tolerance, all put together will give the risk attitude of the individual. Every individual will have some risk tolerance, will have some risk threshold, will have some risk appetite. So all put together, all this put together, it's called a risk attitude. His attitude or organization's attitude towards the risk is dependent on all these 3 factors. Okay, risk tolerance, risk threshold, and risk appetite. Okay, clear? Clear with these terminologies?
Yes.
Okay. And now we told that risk will be of 2 types, positive risks and negative risks. Positive risks are opportunities and negative risks are generally called threats. Okay. And one more thing which you have to remember is a negative risk that has occurred is considered to be an issue. Many times we use these things like in day-to-day world, risk, issue and all. But the technical definitions precisely are this, like a negative risk that has occurred is considered as an issue. Before occurrence it's risk. Once the negative risk happens, it becomes an issue. Okay. So this is about the general things about risk management. And now we'll start the 6 processes in risk management. So what are the 6 processes we have in risk management? Plan risk management. Of course, like any other knowledge area, you have same sort of process activities, like you will be planning how are you going to do your risk management activities upfront, and the output is risk management plan like any other knowledge area. So we discussed earlier that in scope you will do planning and you will get scope management plan. In time you will get planning, you will get time management plan. In cost you will do planning, you will get cost management plan. In quality you will get quality management plan. In communication you will have communication management plan. Similarly in risk you will have this risk management plan. Okay, And the next activity is identify risks. You will be identifying the risks. That is the first activity. Of once you plan it, you have to identify different types of risks in the project, what you are anticipating, and then you will perform the qualitative risk analysis. Qualitative risk analysis is you will be analyzing the quality of the risk, the probability and impact, whether this risk of high quality or low quality. When I say high quality, whether it is going to impact you more or impact you less, whether it has to be prioritized or whether it has to be kept in watch list, that it's not a really a risk which you have to be worried. So you will check the quality of the risk. You will analyze the quality of the risk, and then you will analyze the quantity of the risk. When I say quantity, you will quantify the impact that risk can bring to you. $40,000 will be the loss if the risk happens. You are quantifying it precisely. What would be your loss? A scheduled delay of 10 days would happen if this risk happens. 10 days scheduled delay. You are quantifying the impact. So once you look into the quality of the risk based on the impact, urgency, and other factors which we'll see later, you will decide the priority on that. Then you will quantify it, the loss what you are going to incur on that, and then you will plan your risk responses. Okay, if this risk happens, how should I respond? How should I respond? There are different ways of handling a risk, right? For example, if it is a negative risk, there are 4 ways how you handle a risk, called avoiding the risk, mitigating the risk, transferring the risk, accepting the risk. We'll see in detail what is each type of response, but try to understand there are different ways of handling the risks. For example, if there is a risk called rain, you have to go outside, but there is a risk called rain. I told there are 4 ways of handling the risk. That rain you can handle in 4 different ways, or your activity you can handle in 4 different ways. Okay. First one is avoid. How do you avoid a rain? Anyone? How do you avoid rain?
Go to a safer place where the rain will not be there at that time.
No, you are in the house. You are in the house. You are supposed to go outside. Your wife asks you to get something. So how do you avoid a rain? Don't go outside, no? Don't go outside. You are avoiding the rain.
Yeah, don't go outside or have umbrella.
Yeah, just stay back. No, umbrella is not avoidance. It's a mitigation. That will reduce the impact. If you carry an umbrella, or if you raincoat or something, you are reducing the impact of the rain. You are not totally avoiding it. So it is mitigation basically. So the second one I told is mitigation. So first one is avoidance. Second one is mitigation. Carrying an umbrella or a raincoat is mitigation. Transfer the risk. What is transferring the risk? Send your wife instead of you. You are transferring the risk to your wife. That is transferring. Okay. The moment you what is the fourth one I told? Accept. Accept is you have to accept the risk. There is no other go. The moment you try to transfer the risk to your wife, she kicked you out, and what else you can do? You have to accept the risk. You will be drenching in the rain, and you say to the people who are looking at you that you enjoy the rain, that's why you have been drenching. You have to accept it. There's no other go. So these are the 4 ways of responding to a risk: avoiding, mitigation, transfer, and accepting it. So we'll look in detail about these things. In opportunities, there are different ways like exploit, enhance, accept, and all other things we'll see, and control risks. Okay, you have planned all these things. So when these risks happen, what you have to do? You have to control them. You have to monitor them. You have to monitor for your identified risks, whether these risks are happening as per your plan or not, and then you have to control them. If at all they are happening, you have to control them. So these are the 6 processes in a nutshell which we discussed that are part of this project risk management. So I'm giving you 2 minutes time. Remember by heart the names of these all 6 risks. You by heart. Very important chapter to me. Of all the chapters, this is the most important chapter.